Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sal's live open house 2021 edition. My name is Mr. Tompkins. I'm going to start this presentation talking about the aviation program. We'll go switch some slides in a second, but as we're going, if you have any questions, please enter them into the Q&A and we'll be able to address them once I'm done my slides. Okay, so let's go to the slides for this. Okay, so Aviation Flight 1525 is a two-part course. It takes place in one quarter, one semester. And it is basically a ground school program. It's based on the Transport Canada private and commercial pilot license system. So that's the knowledge base that we go from. I use Transport Canada material to teach it. So there's a ground school course. There's also a flight skills portion where we learn flight skills and operations in the simulator that I'm currently sitting in right now. Over the total course, each student will get 4 hours of time in the sim. And they'll spend another 8 hours watching their small group of peers flying as well, so they can learn some stuff by observation. I'm in the rare position of being knowledgeable about this field. I was a commercial pilot in the territories, Northwest Territories in Alberta for 4 years. I've got almost 3,000 hours of flight time, so I have a wealth of knowledge that I can pass on to this. So we'll look at the next slide and talk about each course, each half in detail. So Aviation 15 is the introduction. It is maybe 3/4 of the material that goes into learning to get your private pilot license. Both of these courses are fairly academic. There's a lot of math and learning that's required. It's not necessarily an easy option. We look at aviation systems and operations, so how the airplane works, how engines function. We look at air law and regulations. We do navigation, so they have to learn how to use maps and charts and that kind of thing. And we go into a great deal about meteorology, even for the private pilots. So be able to read weather maps and understand what they see outside the airplane and that kind of thing. And as I said, this is where we start our simulator lessons and learn how to fly a plane, how to maneuver on the ground, how to talk on the radio, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's the first half. And then the second half is the Aviation 25. And so at this point, we would step up the detail a bit more. This now starts to talk about the commercial pilot license. And so most of the knowledge base just expands a bit. I wouldn't say we cover a lot of the commercial pilot license. There's a lot of information in there, but it is a fair bit. Basically, we go more in depth on more systems you might find on basic aircraft. We get into aircraft performance, reading charts, and a lot more math that goes into there. We get into more details about navigation, using radio aids, GPS, that kind of thing. We look a little further into the air law components, operator regulations, and then we get into further detail about meteorology. We then make them sweat in the simulator and start them going through emergency procedures like fires and failures and special procedures and stuff like that. And that one's a lot of fun because we crash a lot. So yeah, that's a really quick overview of what we do. We ran it a couple times already, had 40 kids go through, and we're really looking forward to doing it again. So that's aviation in a nutshell. And so if you have any questions, we can go to the Q&A.
Hello, Mr. Tompkins. Just a general question. Does this course get students credit towards a pilot's license?
No, as it stands right now, it's not a full ground school for the private license. It's most of the ground school, but because we don't cover everything, it can't really be certified. I have spoken to the Edmonton Flying Club about what would be required for certification, and there's a possibility in the future, but as it stands right now, no. However, I will say, because we're teaching Transport Canada material, for those students who are interested in pursuing a pilot's license, it is a huge leg up when they actually go and do a certified ground school course. They'll know 3/4 of that course quite well if they're invested and interested in it. So, so yeah, no certification, but it's the same material. It's not like we're cutting corners or anything. Good question.
I have another question here, and that is, what kind of simulator experience do the students get?
Well, actually, if we could just switch back to my view for a second, I can show a little bit. This is usually what we like showing on our open house night. I'm currently sitting in our simulator. We're very lucky to have been able to purchase it for the school a while ago. So we are currently sitting, sorry if I'm giving anybody vertigo here. So it's got a wide screen here. So we have a wide range of views. We're able to see lots outside the cockpit. We have fully functional control systems. We have rudder pedals. We've got a throttle quadrant. We're able to work with radio dials and switches and do as fully simulated as possible the experience of flying an airplane. I will let you know once I get us organized here. I was just talking to some students today that even though it's like a video game, it's immersive enough that when we do the emergency procedures, I've had kids I've had them kind of shout out when things get a little exciting, and so it's a very immersive experience. We go through about 5 or 6 different sets of exercises per half, and so we slowly build up our skills. And I've had kids that I bet would be able to get into a little plane and fly to another airport easily, know how to talk on the radio, know how to operate the plane, be fully aware of what's required. So I feel like the flight sim exercises are really good. And even the kids that aren't, maybe it's not quite the course they expected, everyone's waiting for their turn to get into the sim. So it's really exciting. And it's too bad we can't have everyone here today to try it, but that's what you have to look forward to.
All right, thank you. I have a question from an anonymous person. The question is this course transferable?
Transferable to another course? Like, does it? This might be sort of related to doing a commercial license or a private license on your own. I just previously kind of spoken to that. So it might be the same question. And so, yeah, the material you get here is not necessarily going to earn you credits towards getting a license, but what it does do is give you all of that information, like I said, most of a private license. And so when you do when you do a ground school course at a flight school, you will know 3/4 of the material there, and going through the steps of that training will be really easy. I see I have a question from one of my partners in this thing here. It says, do you partner with anyone like the Cooking Lake Airport and a flight school? Field trips? Yeah, we have done field trips. I partner with not Cooking Lake, just because I have what connections I have. We've gone out to Parkland Airport, which is on the other side of town, on the west side of town. That's where the Edmonton Flying Club ends up, and they have a really big flight school there. They have lots of planes. They have commercial training. They have private training, and so we've talked to them, and they were the ones that they brought us out, and they have a couple of really big simulators that are a little bit beyond this. That's a full cockpit, sort of more immersive. So they get to see that. They get to learn about what it takes to train and that kind of thing. So unfortunately, the field trip only kind of involves the trip out to the airport. Everyone always wants to know if we go flying, but flying is expensive, and so that's something that kids and families can do in their own time if they're able to do it. But that's who I've been partnering with so far, and it's worked out really well.
Great. One more question here. Is previous experience necessary? Things like flying time, glider time, or home flight simulator time?
Nope, not at all. It helps. I got lots of kids that will fly Microsoft Flight Simulator or whatever, and especially the new Microsoft Flight Simulator just came out and it's real pretty, and so there's lots of kids trying that out at home. I have had kids that came through cadets, so they've flown gliders. I've had kids that have family friends with small planes, so I get a variety of things, variety of levels of experience, and it's not necessary. The course is designed to train you from ground up, but the more interested in it they are, the better it goes, for sure. But yeah, no experience necessary. Just got to be ready to work hard.
I think that's all our questions. If there's no more questions coming through to the Q&A, then we'll put Mr. Tompkins' contact information on the screen, and we'll start the next presentation at 6:50.
Yes, thanks very much, everybody. Looking forward to a bunch of new pilots.